My name is Sarah Simonton, and this is my third and final Wolf Creek Watershed Assessment Journal PowerPoint presentation. Pictured is just a picture I got of Wolf Creek. You can see that it has a lot of work that needs to be done until it gets to where it needs to be. This is just another overview, just to give a better idea of where Wolf Creek is. It's KN10. It is the red one near Mar Branch, Laurel Creek, Mill Creek, Keeney Creek, Coal Run, and Arbuckle Creek. You can see that it does empty out into the New River, so any contaminants that are within the watershed will absolutely be detrimental to the affecting New River. Pictured is just another overview of Wolf Creek. It is located in Fayette County, West Virginia. It's a smaller portion of the lower New River watershed, which is larger. My assessment was done at that latitude and longitude specifically, although the stream is obviously much more widespread. For this, I used pictures of the site that I obtained from other sources, as well as Google Earth and previous stream assessment for measurements. There was an assessment on this stream previously, so I was able to get very accurate information from that assessment already done. And for this stream, it is impaired from fecal coliform as well as metals and other biological impairments, and its pH has been flagged. Other watershed streams that are impaired within the watershed are House Branch, Crooked Run, Short Creek, and of course Wolf Creek, which has been my primary focus of assessment. So this is just a Google Earth picture of the portion of Wolf Creek I decided to assess. Unfortunately, because it is in more of a remote area, I could not access other portions of the stream that I thought would be better applicable to this assessment, so I did the best that I could. This was one that I could get down to street view on, so I did choose this location solely because of that. Although I know that the water quality is obviously different throughout, you can see there is still some debris on top in this picture, so this is where I decided to do the street view. And pictured highlighted is where I did my primary assessment, which I will be discussing in the following slides, but I just wanted to show the relative location of my assessment and where I completed everything. So this is my stream classification worksheet for Wolf Creek. I did bankful measurements, sinuosity, entrenchment ratio, dominant channel soils, riparian vegetation, and bank slope. And I did this again using photos and Google Earth. As you can see, the bankful measurements I obtained were just 2.11 meters, as well as a depth of 0.98 meters. The width to depth bankful measurement ended up being 2.15 meters, and the stream length that I used was 200 meters, and the valley length ended up being 210 with a sinuosity of 0.95. Again, the bankful width was also 2.11, while the flood prone width was 5.40. The entrenchment ratio, because of this, ended up being 2.56, so that just meant it was only had slight entrenchment, not very much, which I could also observe just in pictures and on Google Earth. The dominant channel soils that I gathered were cobble for the bed material, and for the left bank it was coarse sand, and for the right bank it was also coarse sand. The description of the soil profiles were just dark sands, and there was massive amounts of mud present. For the riparian vegetation, there was just a lot of grasses and trees on both sides, with the total area on the left 70% and on the right 80%, while the total height was just 2% and 3%. The ratio of actual bank height to bank fall height ended up being 2.04, while the bank slope on the left was 45 and the right 55. This stream ended up being stream type F, and again, I just used other data that I had to get accurate measurements. And this is my pebble count information. As you can see, there was not very many big rocks at all. It was very much mostly very coarse sands and silts. So this is my finished pebble count. And for my BEHI field form, I just used that main road crossing access point of the stream in the same coordinates as I did the other assessment. So for this, my bank height score was just 1 because it was very low. And for my root depth, it ended up being between 30 and 49, which had an RDH score of 5 highlighted, and my root density score ended up being 3, which was low, and my surface protection was between 15 and 29, so it resulted in an SP score of 7, while my bank angle was next to none, so it received a BA score of 1. In addition to this, the material was mostly silty and loam, so there was no adjustment needed for that. And for the stratification adjustment, there was a single layer, so there was an additional 5, which made the total score of 22. This indicated that the stream was just moderate, and that is my completed assessment of the Wolf Creek in the Wolf Creek watershed of Fayette County.